welcome back to my channel. So today I'm starting my Junk Journal July series. So we're going to be doing day 1 and day 2 in this video because yesterday we had the Junk Journal July launch party. Well, I've called it a party, but it was an amazing collaboration with 10 other junk journalers and artists. So if you haven't already checked out the playlist, I'll leave a link down below. There is so much inspiration and ideas about junk journal supplies. And if you're new here, all the information that you need to get involved with Junk Journal July will be in the description box. So for the first prompt, we had begin, and I think it's just really nice to ease yourself into a monthly challenge, especially if maybe you've been feeling in a bit of a slump or a creative rut, you haven't done much creating. I think it's really nice to start off small as well. So that's what I've done with this page. I found a quote on Pinterest that was about new beginnings, and it's the best time for new beginnings is now. And I just thought that was the perfect sentiment. So all I did was grabbed my typewriter out, which I absolutely love to use with vellum, typed out the quote and then just ripped it just to give those kind of organic uneven edges. And what I'm doing here is assembling one of my little collage clusters. So these are from the scrap little bag that I showed you in yesterday's video. So these are the bits that you might think to just put in the bin when you finish crafting. Please hold on to them because they make amazing collage clusters and I love layering them up. I don't always glue them flat, so in this case I've layered them and I'm going to come in with just my staple to attach them. I sometimes find that if things aren't glued down completely flat, you get a lot more dimension and interest on your page, and I just think it looks kind of fun. So that's the only reason that I haven't like completely glued things down. Plus it means that I can make last minute tweaks and changes to things if I decide I want to change things up or add things in. So I've got a collection of different papers here, so some book paper, some tea dyed paper, also some sewing paper, and then finally my little vellum quote just on the top. And then it's just as simple as one little staple. It's not even like in a straight line, it's wonky, but that's completely fine. So if you haven't yet started the challenge or done this prompt and maybe you're feeling a little bit stuck, what I wanted to do as well each day was to give you guys some of my thoughts and ideas of things you could do for each of the prompts. So begin, you can take this to mean showing up to your journal, to starting making some initial marks or collages on a page as a way to get past that blank page fear and get creating in your journal. You could do what I've done and maybe look at some quotes around beginnings, starting, things like that. Or you could even create an introduction page for your journal as a way to begin. So I know Kaylee, who was part of the YouTube collaboration, she likes to do introduction pages for her journals. So there's lots of different things you could do to begin in your junk journal, and I think I'd encourage you for each of these prompts. I've tried to make them intentionally as broad and as vague as possible so that you have the freedom to take these prompts and run with them and use them however you would like. Every time we do these challenges, I'm always amazed by how creative people's responses are, and I'll see things and think, wow, I would never have thought to do that with this prompt. And it's just so amazing to see everyone's different responses to this. So that's why these prompts are quite vague in a way. So if you're worried about not sure what to do with that, there's no wrong answer. Everybody's way of thinking about the prompts is going to be completely different. So I'm just finishing off my page here with a white pen for some detailing. This is a Uniball Signo. It's my absolute favourite white pen, and I'm just highlighting new beginnings there just to add a nice bit of contrast. Nice and simple. That's my page for day 1. So for day 2 of the challenge, the prompt is reinvent, and I feel like this is the whole spirit of junk journaling, the idea of recycling, upcycling, seeing things through a new lens, giving things a new lease of life, taking the trash and making it treasure. When I sat down originally to create for this prompt, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and normally the best thing I find for that is to just start doing stuff and you'll think of something. So that is what I was doing, and the first thing I wanted to do was give myself an extra page in this journal, because with the doily, although it was absolutely beautiful, it wasn't very good as an actual page. So I decided to add an extra piece of scrapbook paper just to give myself an extra page to work with. And then what I started to do was glue together some of those really small collagey leftover scrap bits that I had and create a larger collaged piece that I could include within this page. So I suppose this is almost one element of reinventing that I'm doing, is that I'm taking these smaller elements and joining them together to be one larger reinvented collage piece. You can see I've even got kind of a clothing tag there, just to give this a little bit more sturdiness, because some of the papers that I was using were a little bit more on the flimsy side, so I tried to keep that balance going. And now something that I haven't included in the video because it kind of happened off camera, is that I had an accident with my journal. I know we're already on day 2, or only on day 2 I should say, and there has already been a disaster. So here I am, displaying out my little collage piece and deciding where it might go on the page. I thought about making this into a bit of a belly band pocket almost, but then it kind of felt a bit busy and I didn't, but that is definitely something that you could do. Now you'll notice that I've got my coffee out here, and so I'm adding some drips of coffee to this little piece, and then I thought, oh, maybe I'll add some to the journal page as well, because I always think that looks quite nice and it's a really good way as well to add cohesion to your page. But you can see where I'm going here, can't you? So I got up to take this just away from my desk because I wanted to dry it off camera, and I ended up tipping the mug of coffee all over my desk. It went all over my journal, all over stuff that I had on my desk, really, really close to my computer because I was watching a show at the time as I was filming this. So that was a near miss. It could have been a lot worse, but yeah, it went all over my journal, and so the cover and quite a few of the pages more towards the back now have this really funky coffee dyed look. So when you next see my journal cover, that is why half of it looks like I have just dunked it in coffee. I think it looks cool, but it definitely wasn't what I was going for, but I'm just thankful that it didn't ruin my whole journal, because I would have been so annoyed if it ruined my whole journal on the second day, the second page. But luckily as well, because it's coffee, I can kind of work it into my pages and make it look like I just meant for it to happen all along. So for some reason, I had this little collection of these folded tabs that you get on packaging. I'd set them off to the side, and I think I must have had a bright idea at one point, but it's since escaped me why I was collecting these things. Please let me know if you do the same. I feel like I always keep things with really good intentions, and then when it comes to actually sitting down at my desk and using them, I have no idea why I have them. But what I thought I might do is just do some simple collaging on these, and I ended up turning them into little tabs, side tabs on the side of my journal, by cutting them up, and they actually have quite a unique shape as well. So that was definitely a way of reinventing something that would have obviously otherwise gone in the bin, and creating some cool little tags with it. And this is something that you can do when you're just watching TV and you want a little project to do, so you can kind of pre-make them and then add them to your journal at a later date. They're also quite nice because you're sticking them onto the card, so it makes kind of a sturdier tab, because I've used tabs in the past, and sometimes if you're using different papers, after a while they can kind of fall apart a little bit or get creased and bent, whereas this is a lot sturdier. So here I am attaching my little collage strip to the page, and then what I decided to do was make that into the focal point on this side of the page and add in a fussy cut floral on top of this. But I just wanted to add some extra pink behind it because I felt like this is quite a busy page actually, and you couldn't like distinguish the flower from the background. So I just wanted to kind of lift the fussy cut floral up a little bit and give it a backing, which is what I was doing there. And then this is just a random business card that I had floating around on my desk, and as you can see, it kind of became a victim to the coffee incident and actually had a quite cool, you know, coffee stain to it. So what I decided to do was dull down some of that text with some white paint just to make it blend in with the page a bit more. Then I added on top a glassine envelope, and again I had all intents and purposes of using this as a pocket. This is twice now that I tried and failed. Well, not failed, but I didn't make the pocket on the page. Like, I started off thinking, yes, I'm gonna do the pocket, and then I just didn't. And to be honest, that just happens sometimes when you're creating. You start with one idea and then it just becomes something completely different. So here I am showing you as well the tab that I'm adding to this page and the different kind of effects you can get. I was kind of cutting it up and folding it in different directions to see which configuration I preferred. So I ended up going with the one that was lengthways rather than the shorter way, just because I felt that that fit with the page best. And I just stapled it on. No fuss, just stapled it on. You could probably also glue it, maybe washi tape it, but I just thought staples will keep it there and it won't move anywhere. Now I'm just adding some final details to the page. So a couple of washi strips because I felt like the two pages weren't connected enough, so I just wanted to bring them together a bit. And then I also paper clipped the doily onto the scrapbook paper so that it wouldn't move around. Lastly, I also added a little sticker to the left hand side of the page just because I felt like it was missing something, like a little finishing touch. And then I also came in with one of these little journal cards that was from a scrapbook set because I also felt like something was missing on the right hand side page, and I had tried, you can see there to the right, to put a couple of tags in it and stuff, but I just didn't feel like it was giving enough contrast. So I felt like the black here, although it's quite stark, the contrast I think really works. And yeah, I think I was quite happy with this page. It's a very scrappy mishmash page. It's got a lot of vibes of, like, you know, when you're trying to get used to a journal, you're kind of warming up. So I hope you enjoyed joining me for this journaling session and seeing what I've got up to for day 1 and 2 of the challenge. If you're joining in, don't forget to use the hashtag JunkJournalJuly either over here on YouTube or on Instagram so that I can see what you create, and you can also see what other people are doing as well. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys tomorrow for day number 3. Bye guys.